The wind howled through the streets of New York City, biting at the skin and rattling windows. It was one of those cold, unforgiving nights when the city seemed to hold its breath silent, waiting for something to break the stillness. But for Ava, it wasn't the cold that troubled her. Ava had always been a dreamer. She'd grown up in a small town surrounded by fields and wide-open skies. She used to imagine her life in the big city would be like the stories she'd read in books full of adventure, romance, and endless possibility. But the truth of city life was far different from the idealized version she had imagined. The real world had its own way of throwing curveballs, and Ava, like many others, had learned to adapt. Life was a series of compromises, moments of joy interspersed with moments of pain. And the greatest lesson she'd learned was that the heart is both resilient and fragile. Years ago, she'd met someone who changed everything. His name was Ethan, and their connection had been immediate. It wasn't love at first sight, not exactly, but it was something deeper, something raw. There was an unspoken understanding between them, like two souls who had always known each other, even before they met. They shared dreams, laughter, and the kind of bond that felt like it was destined to last forever. But destiny, as Ava learned the hard way, is a fragile thing. 1 year ago, in the midst of their blossoming relationship, Ethan had disappeared without a trace. No phone calls, no explanations, no messages, just silence. It was like he had vanished into thin air. Ava had spent weeks searching for answers, calling his phone, texting him, checking his social media, and asking their mutual friends if they had heard from him, but no one had. For months, she wondered what went wrong. Was it something she had said? Something she had done? They'd been so happy, or at least she thought they were. It felt like one of those tragic love stories you read in books, only it wasn't a story. It was her life. She had no closure, no explanation. She spent months drowning herself in her work, distracting herself with everything but the empty space in her heart. But no matter how much she tried to move forward, she always found herself thinking of Ethan, his smile, the way he made her feel like the only person in the world who mattered. Then one evening, months later, something unexpected happened. An envelope appeared at her doorstep. There was no return address, just her name written in bold, familiar handwriting. Her heart raced as she stared at the envelope, almost afraid to open it. Could this be real? Could it finally be an answer from Ethan? Slowly, she reached down and picked it up, her hands trembling. She opened the envelope carefully, as if afraid that whatever was inside might shatter her already fragile heart. Inside was a simple piece of paper, the words written in the same handwriting she had missed so much. "I'm sorry. Should have never left. I made a mistake. But now, I need to make things right. Please meet me for the last time at our place. I'll be waiting." Ethan Ava's hand shook as she held the letter. It was as if everything from the last year, every sleepless night, every tear she'd shed was suddenly flooding back.
Ow.
She thought she had moved on. She thought she was okay. But now, faced with the possibility of seeing Ethan again, all the old feelings came rushing back. She stared at the letter, unable to decide what to do. Should she go? Should she confront him? What if this was just another lie, another reason to hurt her all over again? But there was something inside her, something she couldn't quite explain that stopped her. It was the same feeling that had kept her searching all year, the same spark of hope that had refused to die even in the darkest moments. With trembling fingers, Ava folded the letter back up and placed it in her coat pocket. Tonight, she would go to their place. The streets of New York were quieter than usual, almost as if they too were waiting for something. The city's familiar buzz had quieted down as the snow started to fall, dusting the streets in a soft, almost magical blanket of white. Ava reached the park where they had first met. The park was empty, save for the crunch of her footsteps in the snow. The bench was still there, old and weathered, just like her memories. She had always thought this place would be where their story ended, but now she wasn't sure. She sat down, heart pounding in her chest, eyes scanning the dark, empty space. Minutes passed, and still no sign of Ethan. She checked her watch. It was almost midnight. Just as she was about to stand up and leave, a shadow appeared in the distance. The figure grew closer, and Ava's breath caught in her throat. Her heart was racing, her palms sweaty. It was him, Ethan. Ethan stopped a few feet away, hesitating, his eyes searching hers, as if trying to read the emotions that had long been buried. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I've made so many mistakes. I've hurt you in ways I can't even begin to explain, but I need you to know. I never stopped thinking about you. Not for a second." Ava's eyes welled with tears. Her heart ached with every word he said. She had waited so long for him to come back, to hear him say that he still cared, that he still wanted her in his life. But the hurt, the abandonment, was too fresh to ignore. She had spent months picking up the broken pieces of herself, and now she wasn't sure if she could trust him again. "Ethan," she began, her voice cracking, her throat tight. "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you even try to reach out?" Ethan took a step forward, his expression full of shame. "I didn't think you'd ever forgive me. I thought I was too much of a failure to come back. I thought I'd lost you for good, and that you'd be better off without me." He paused, running his hand through his hair in frustration. "But I've realized that wasn't my choice to make. I was wrong." Ava's eyes welled with tears. "I don't know if I can forgive you. I don't know if I can just forget all the pain I went through, or the things you left unsaid." Ethan's face fell. He stepped closer, his eyes pleading with her, as if trying to bridge the gap between them that seemed impossible to cross. "I don't expect you to forget, Ava. I don't deserve that. But I'm asking for a chance for us to start over, to rebuild what we had. Even if it means starting with nothing, even if it means taking it one step at a time." Ava closed her eyes, feeling the cold wind sting her skin, but inside she was warm. Her mind flashed to all the memories of their laughter, their late-night conversations, their shared dreams. It had been real once, and even though the pain had scarred her, she couldn't deny that she still felt something. "Oh, yeah. I don't know what the future holds, Ethan," she said softly. Ethan nodded, tears threatening to spill from his eyes. I'll do whatever it takes to prove I'm worth it. Please, just give me a chance." Ava took a deep breath, and in that moment she knew what she had to do. "I don't know if we can ever go back to what we were," she said quietly, "but I'm willing to try if you are, but we take it slow. One step at a time." Ethan's face softened, his breath shaky with emotion. "I'll take every step you need, Ava. I'll wait as long as it takes, as long as you'll have me." And so, in the snow-covered park, amidst the quiet hum of the city, Ava and Ethan stood no longer strangers, but two people willing to try again. The past had hurt them both, but the future was theirs to rebuild. The journey wasn't over. It was just beginning.